If you're watching this video, then you're just like me, and you too have ended up in this weird alternate timeline where Master Grade, one of the 3 pillars of Gunpla, has just absolutely vanished and disappeared and has been replaced by things like this. Don't get me wrong, this is an absolutely awesome kit, but just think about it. It's a Master Grade SD Gundam Barbatos. The only other Master Grade we got this year was a Master Grade Verka. Now these are absolutely fantastic kits, but normal Master Grades have just poof, vanished, disappeared, evaporated. And if you look to the horizon as to what we're going to get next, it's a Master Grade Verka narrative Gundam. Nobody asked for that. Nobody. But even though we're stuck in this weird alternate timeline where Master Grades are wild, wacky, and strange, they are still fantastic, and that goes double for this right here. I never thought the next Master Grade Gundam frame we'd be getting would end up being vertically challenged, but apparently it is. I thought we'd be getting some more of the other Gundam frames in Master Grade, but we never did. But I will mention, this does say something that's a little strange. It says MGSD Gundam Frame 1 on the runners, which means there could be an MGSD Gundam Frame 2 in future. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at this right here. This is the Master Grade SD Gundam Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans. And of course, if you do want one of your own, as usual, I got mine through HobbyLink Japan, so I will throw a link down there in the description for you to get some sweet, sweet Gunpla all of your own. Now, this is an incredible kit, and we might as well start off where I usually do, right on back at that build. So when it comes to the build of this kit right here, sure it might be an SD, but it is 100% Master Grade through and through. This is it's an incredibly impressive kit. Even though I was super astounded by the last release, which was the first one ever, the Master Grade SD Freedom Gundam, this still completely delivers. When it comes to the plastic in here, there's pretty much a Master Grade amount of stuff, especially when you think early Master Grades. We've got 13 runners of plastic, which is absolutely perfect for a demon. These are split up predominantly into white, the gunmetal of the inner frame, a multicolored runner with all of the colors, and we do have some nice painted on the runner colors in here as well, including silver and an injection gold. This all builds up the way you'd expect a Master Grade to build up, especially a Master Grade Iron-Blooded Orphans kit. You can build this as the inner frame first, which the box says on the side that you can do, but you do not get any instructions to do it. This can get a little bit confusing, so I did it so you can see exactly what it looks like. So this does have a fully fledged frame inside of it. I am not joking. This looks absolutely perfect, just made a little bit, well, chibi. Super deformed. If I actually slap this down side by side with the Master Grade frame, here's a partially built one, it has the same amount of detail, if not a little bit more. Some parts look a little bit more impressive, like the feet. So yeah, this is just like a scaled down miniaturized version, but it keeps all of the detail of a Gundam frame. Again, my mind is blown with this absolutely unique and phenomenal line. And before I actually throw the armor onto it, there's the full 360 spin, so you can see exactly what that Gundam frame looks like. Now it does say Gundam Frame 1 on the runners. I don't know why they would do that if they weren't gonna, well, make 2, 3, and so on. So we might see another Gundam frame in future. Maybe something along the lines of a Lupus or Lupus Rex. And if they do that, I will actually riot, because they didn't do a regular Master Grade. Anyway, compose yourself. So then you can just snap on the armor just like I'm doing right here. Now I will mention, you actually do put the armor on as part of the build. When you're building the head, you put the armor on. When you're building the torso, you put the armor on. That is the normal way of building this kit, and this is so impressive. It layers up so perfectly. It has every bit of detail it needs to have to be classed as Master Grade. The clear pink parts inside of this look so good. They just slot in perfectly. They have an almost like, I don't know what to describe it as. Like you'd see in a reflector or something like that, a kind of crisscrossy pattern inside of it to really nicely diffuse and throw out the light. Some of the other super premium things we would have seen with the last Master Grade SD, including the lenses for on the eyes. So we do have some silver parts for behind the eyes, and then the lenses go on over that to give this real camera lens kind of feel. It just looks so perfect. Inside the box we also do get some decals as well. These are sticker style decals. So once I was actually finished building this little guy up, I did do a little bit of pan lining, grey on the whites and every color but the yellow, and I used some brown on the yellow. Then I did use some of the stickers. These aren't that bad. Usually I'm not a big fan of sticker style decals, but on any of the white parts they don't show up that much. Also when it comes to that Tekkadan logo up on the shoulder, we've got a choice between red, battle damaged red, grey or battle damaged grey. So I used red in the shoulder, grey in the butt, so we can check those out later on. And when it is finished, this right here is what it looks like. I am beyond impressed. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. The Master Grade SD line has been so great so far. However, I'm probably going to throw this complaint in over and over again. I would love to see a normal Master Grade, please. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Anyway, onto the aesthetics. So jumping now into the aesthetics, and what can I say? I'm absolutely floored once again by the Master Grade SD line. This thing looks incredible. Everything about it is oh so perfect. We've got so much amazing detail here to panel line up. I just did a little bit of panel lining just to bring out a little bit of it, but the molding on all of the parts, all of the detail is incredible. We've got some parts coming through from underneath with that nice injection silver. I said it was painted earlier on. No, that is injection. We've got those ridiculously reflective aspects up in the shoulders and chest, those power icons. Everything just looks so perfect, and those eyes are absolutely mesmerizing with the way we've got reflective clear green parts over some silver parts inside. That big V-fin looking sharp, massive and awesome, and making me wish we had a perfect grade Gundam Barbie. Overall, the silhouette on this is absolutely perfect, and some of the parts that are large on this, of course that being the shoulders and the head, the largest aspects on it, are incredibly detailed, and I would almost say beyond Master Grade. This thing is incredible. When it comes to the color separation on this, it is absolute perfection. We've got the standard Gundam colors of blue, white, yellow, and red. And on top of that, we've got some fantastic looking colors on here, including the injection silver looking extremely nice, and the injection gold, which is only on about 3 pieces, but it's a nice touch of detail. Finally, we do have the clear parts like that mind-melting pink with the cool reflector aspects inside of it, and the eyes, like I mentioned, in green over silver. It does look incredible. So when it does come to those bad aspects that you will always find on a model kit, well, they're not that bad. First up, when it does come to the mobs, I nearly call them. When it comes to the mobs on this, well, of course they are here and there. Mainly, I noticed on the blue, but if you take a lot of care, clean it up nicely, you won't get any. On the other colors like the red, yellow, and white, not a chance. You're not going to see a single thing. And the gray, it's all hidden quite nicely, but you might get a little bit here and there, again, depending on how careful you are. Seam lines I would consider pretty much, well, absolutely non-existent. Mold lines are here and there, of course, just like you can see here around that little nubby section, but there are no major offenders. Now, other model kit kind of down points are here as well, like the hollow sections on the back of the V-fin. You could, in a way, think about that as detail. It doesn't look too bad, but that's usually just a kind of cost-cutting measure. But here, it actually looks kind of nice. And one thing I will super warn about, this white plastic is brittle as all hell. This little section right here, I did end up breaking, so I snapped that. Basically what happened was, when I did put it together, because I did do it frame first, I put the little armor sections on wrong, which you might have noticed in the intro. They are the wrong way around. And while disassembling it, I did end up popping this little segment. So this kind of glossy, nice white plastic is very brittle, so be careful. Not incredibly brittle, but just watch out for weak points like that. Next up, when it does come to the decals in here, it is nice to have some included. These are not bad, the designs are great, and for the most part, I'm not seeing any outlines. I did not use any on any of the darker plastics because that's normally where you would see the outlines, but these are a nice design. I especially like the worn, battle-damaged look on the Tekkadan logos and the nice little ones that say Barbatos on them. These are decently, nicely designed. I didn't use them all, just some here and there, and I love that one in the middle of the V-fin. Getting the Barbie now into the full 360 spin, and like I've said time and time again throughout this, I am so blown away. We've got some nice detailing, pistons here and there, especially in the lower body. These ones, the ones in the torso, those are functional. We got some in the neck, those aren't functional, they're just decorational. And just overall, all the detail on here is phenomenal. We've got a pretty cool gimmick that I will talk about in a couple of seconds, where you can actually extend and expand the shoulders a little bit, which is 100% unique to this kit right here. And I like that they actually throw that sort of thing in with the Master Grade versions of stuff. The Master Grade Barbatos had those nice little knives up in its mace, so it is cool that they do throw a little extra something in there to make the kit in general itself a little bit more unique. Overall though, this does look incredible. The detail, everything, the attention Bandai put into this, it is beautiful. So like I mentioned, this version of Barbie right here does have a unique gimmick, and that is the pop-out shoulder. So that is what it looks like beforehand, that is what it looks like afterwards, and in order to do it, you just actually pull down on these little lower sections of the shoulders and it just pops out like so. So once again, that's it with them out, that's them in, and putting them back is as simple as just pushing that little bottom part again. Super, super simple. Finally then, onto a bit of a size comparison. There it is side by side with the high grade. So as you can see, it's almost as tall as the high grade, so it's not a tiny kit by any margin. And there it is side by side of the vast majority of the inner frame of the master grade. I actually don't have my master grade handy right now for the comparison, but this gives you a little bit of an idea. Moving now into the accessories, and here's everything that comes with the Master Grade SD Gundam Barbatos. So what we've got in here is nice little loadout, definitely. We've got the big old mace, we've got the Smoothbore Gun, we've got the longsword, and 2 adapters. What more could you ask for? So first up, when it does come to the, well, I guess the aspects that are on the mobile suit itself, first off, we've got the hands. There are no other included hands in here besides the ones that we're seeing right here. These are almost like the old school 2.0 hands, but we do have these 3 fingers attached together like so that move like that. It looks like you can actually nip them apart if you wanted to. An index finger that can move just like so, and a thumb that can move like that there. On top of that, we do have a little bit of an extra bit of movement inside of the wrist, which allows the hand to pivot just like so, which is definitely what we'll be wanting when we get that mace into the hands. When it comes to compatibility with action bases, we do have a little action base hole down here for using with any kind of 3mm peg action base. This can be covered up with this little sliding mechanism just like so. And popping Barbatos onto an action base is super simple. It works just like that. Pop in the stand, this holds on perfectly and he's not going to fall off, which is always super, super nice. This does its job well, and there is the Master Grade SD Gundam Barbatos up in the air, looking awesome. So first up, we're going to be taking a look at that mace, that iconic Barbatos mace. This looks absolutely incredible, as you'd expect with something with the Master Grade moniker on the box. This is made up out of a whole bunch of parts. It is a little bit different color, top of the handle, bottom of the handle. There is a little bit of a brown color to the bottom. It's gunmetal from the top up to the blade. Popping this into the hand is incredibly simple. I'm actually shocked by how easy it is. It just slots into the slot in the hand. It's a good, thick, strong slot and a good, thick, strong peg, so it holds in perfectly. Moving the arms around while this is in the hand is so simple too, because this is both fluid and solid, and getting it into both hands usually with some kits is a bit of an endeavor, but here it just works out well. It's lined up perfectly. The second peg is lined up for the other hand perfectly. Once they're both attached, you can just move it around into whatever pose you want, and it automatically looks fantastic, like what you're seeing right here. Again, impressive. If that was not cool enough already, we also have a really nice gimmick in the mace that is exclusive to this particular version of Barbie. So if you just grab this little segment right here, then grab onto this here piece of the shaft and pull, it goes, yeah, it doesn't do anything because you push, you don't pull. When you push, it goes pow. The whole thing expands out just like so, and the pile bunker up top expands ever so slightly. Pull it out to reset it back into position. So one more time, you give it a push and it all expands. Very subtle, but very cool. When this is not in use, you're able to attach it onto the backpack. We have 2 adapters in here for attaching stuff on here. It just pops via a 3mm peg into the backpack like so, and then you just take that big old mace and turn it upside down and pop it right on in there. Now, we'll mention at this point that the backpack has all of the good stuff going on. That means you're able to open it up like so, open it outwards with some nice color correct pistons inside of it, 1 point of rotation closer to the Barbie itself, a ball joint with all of the goings on further from the Barbatos, and this can be used, of course, while the mace is attached, so you can pop that off and swing it up and over the shoulder like so, so Barbie can grab right onto it whenever he needs it. Next up in here, we've got the Smoothbore Gun. Just like we would have seen with the mace, this end down here is in that kind of brownish sort of color, almost with a little bit of a green hue to it, that kind of olivey drab. The other end is that kind of gunmetal we've been seeing so far. This puts together in a very smart sort of way, and I will mention that there is a clear section for the lens, and I did pop a little bit of foil sticker in behind it just to kind of get a little bit of a nice glint out of it. There is like a little lens sculpted in behind that you will obscure, but I just did that because I wanted it to be a little more shiny and less dull. This, of course, can transform for storage by pulling long like so, swinging back like this, and sliding up like that, and then it can be stored away on the back of the Barbie. So it does come to attaching this onto the Barbie. Thankfully, this does have a very articulated handle. This actually has a ball joint instead of a peg, so it means you can angle it back and forward as well as side to side to get it into just the right position to fit in underneath those very short arms. This does work out very simply as well. Pops in, holds on tight, and that right there is what it looks like with the Smoothbore Gun equipped. Looking absolutely fantastic. Again, everything with this kit so far, ridiculously impressive. So when the Smoothbore Gun is not in use, we can just pull it off out of the hand like so, collapse it the way that we saw earlier on, which is a really nice sliding mechanism, no issues whatsoever, and then this can plug on into the backpack without any kind of adapter. It just attaches on and looks a little bit like that. So far it's starting to look like this kit can have its entire loadout on the unit all at once. And speaking of the last bit of the loadout, so the last of the accessories we have in here is the sword, once again looking ridiculously nice. The main body of the sword is one piece, the handle is two parts that sandwich over that, so we do have two colors on here, which does look nice and premium. Attaching this into the hand is the same as we would have seen before. A peg in the handle goes into the hand, close the hand around it, and that is what it looks like attached. So this is one nice looking sword. Bandai didn't skimp on anything here. Finally, when this is not in use, it's the same again, just pop it off, attach the adapter onto the back, same as the mace, and it just slots down inside of it and looks like that right there when it is stored, and it holds on perfectly. So finally, now moving on to the articulation and a little bit of a comment on the build here, or should I say like the general structure of this. Well, the first thing I'll mention is, for a long time at the beginning, the legs just kept falling off up here. If this is happening to you, it means you haven't clicked them in far enough. You have to really push the joints down into the top until they click, and then they will never ever fall off. This thing is rock solid. Just be careful. Like I mentioned, the white plastic can be a little bit on the brittle side, so be careful. So when it comes to the usual pose here, without a single doubt, this is a masterpiece. There's so much going on here that I would say would even trump the Master Grade itself. There's just tiny little nuances everywhere to eke out the most over-the-top poses you could ever expect from such a short-statured Gundam. Everything from the arms to the legs to the torso has so much going on, and the general articulation gives you everything you could ever want. I feel like I can get the best little lunge out of this I have ever gotten, and everything just works perfectly. The feet stay completely on the ground, the toes bend, it's got a killer ab crunch. This thing does everything it needs to do. It even has tons of articulation in its neck. This is off the charts. Now, it would take me forever and a day to actually go through all of the individual things on this kit, so I'm just going to mention the most unique aspects about it. So the neck has so much axis of movement, so this can move around a lot. The side-to-side pivot is the only thing that's kind of a little bit limited, but otherwise you get everything you could need. The shoulders are not attached onto the arms, so these can pivot and move around on their own, but still at the same time do not get in the way of the shoulder. They are actually attached onto the top there, but not to the actual joint of the arm here. The pistons inside of the abs, they do actually move in when you do the side to side crunch, so that does look incredible, and there is just so much going on. You will get so much expressive poses out of this little beast. We do have the dropping mechanism in the hip right here that moves up and down ever so slightly. I do kind of wish it went down a little bit more, but still it is quite good, so you can get some decent kicks. When the knees bend, the knee armor does shift in that classic old Master Grade kind of style, so it does look incredibly nice, and the feet are absolutely perfect. Again, we've got point down at the toes, as well as a double bend up at the toes as well, so you will get all sorts of poses out of this tiny little masterpiece. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and Gundarium tier through and through. This is an unmissable kit. I am surprised how much I love this line. I've never been an SD guy. Never, ever. I've tried a few, and even though they are fun, the cross silhouettes brought them to the next level a little bit, and their heads always did look incredible. And I always like to pop those heads on high grades to get a cool kind of effect. But this right here, this is absolutely obscene. This does everything you could need and more. This actually does trump and improve upon the actual Master Grade in a whole lot of ways. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Everything's perfect. If I go through the list, aesthetically this is so nice. Everything looks perfect. The angles are nice and sharp. This is Barbatos through and through, and the clear parts on this in the eyes and those power icons are beautiful. The accessories, you get everything you could ever need, and they can be stored in the backpack can bring them forward. The Mace has some nice gimmicks. We've got a full folding, storable form of the Smoothbore Gun, and everything can be mounted on the backpack. And just like we saw there with the articulation, this thing can really bust a move, and it looks perfect from absolutely every angle. The detail is through the roof. This line of kits is ridiculous. If you haven't tried them yet, do yourself a favor. Give them a go. So worth it. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. I got mine a hobby link. You can too, link in the description. And as always, I will see you next time. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and all of these awesome people right here who help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including 10 Soldier YT, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Dashel Marmion, Go Little Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, or G95061, 10 Soldier YT again, and Van Fawn.